Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch, you'd like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'll be reviewing the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Tribute Duoface calendar reference Q3912532 in rose gold, with one side being silver or white and the other side being black or gray. So dark and white, or dark and light. I will tell you a little bit about the history of this watch and then tell you about where it stands in the lineup of other similar Reversos. Then I'll tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's just start with a tiny bit of history. Now, that the Reverso, I will say, is Jaeger-LeCoultre, or abbreviated JLC, or Jaeger. Its most popular, notable, and recognizable collection. And I don't say that lightly because they make some very nice ones, but definitely their Reverso is their most famous. Why? Well, probably because it's the most recognizable. There's not a lot of watches that have this rectangular shape to them. A few of them have it. I can think of off the top of my head, for example, the Cartier Tank Francais, or Richard Mille has a similar shape, Frank Mueller, and a few others, the Patek Gondolo, and a few others, but not a whole lot. And JLC is they are the most well-known of all those brands I just mentioned to make this shape. And usually a rectangular shape is not the basis of the watch brand. It's just one of their side collections, such as the case in Patek Philippe's Gondolo or Rolex's Cellini. They made a Prince before that also had this basic shape. But JLC has really gone above and made this their centerpiece. So the Reverso, there it is. And they made this a long time ago, and that's probably why they were able to make it their centerpiece collection, because it was made in 1931, and that makes it almost 100 years old, this shape. And I'm glad that at least one brand has really taken this shape and pushed it to its absolute limit and made it, the centerpiece of their brand. They make a lot of other cool watches, such as their Polaris, their Duoface, the Rendezvous, the Ultra Thin, etc., etc. But as I said, when you think of Jaeger, most people, they're going to think of the Reverso. And so let's talk about it. Where does this watch stand in the lineup? Well, at first, when they first started making this in 1931, it was a response to polo players wanting to protect the watch while they played polo, so that JLC decided, okay, we're going to make it so that it can flip and turn the other way, and that's how you protect the glass from shattering. Okay. And over time, it developed into, hey, instead of just turning it over and having a flat back, which is what some of the entry-level models do, let's make another watch face on the other side, either the back of the watch, or let's just let it tell time altogether. And that is why this one has become so popular, because there actually is no other watch that can flip over and you can see two sides of it. This one could be white or it could be black. It's actually black, but it's like a dark gray, but it's light or black, dark or light on either face, and that hence the name Duoface. Okay, now with that said, where does it stand in the lineup? Well, Jaeger makes many variations of the Reverso, as you can imagine. They make the most basic variation in stainless steel. They actually have 65 different Reversos, at least as of 2025, and as in current production, that is. And they have many, many more of that throughout the years. And they do it in a lot of different variations. They do it in a chronograph and non-chrono and steel, and then they make it for ladies with diamonds and just a ton of different colors and variations, in the dial, etc. But the one that we're looking at here today is one of the top. It's not the most expensive one, because they make some super crazy. They even make a tourbillon version, a skeleton version. They make some super crazy looking, amazing ones. Not to say this one isn't, because this one's also amazing, but it's, I would say, up higher to mid-pack. It's one of the more expensive ones, but it's not the most expensive one, because as I said, they make even a tourbillon, which is pretty nuts. So this one is really nice. It's an annual calendar with a moon phase, and it's in rose gold. So it's one of the top Reversos. Okay. All right. So now you know where it stands in the lineup. Now let's start talking about the watch itself. Let's start with the case. Now, obviously, the case is not circular. It's rectangular, meaning there's two sides that are equal distance that are longer than the two shorter sides. But what else I can point out to you is that the distance from lug to lug, that means where the bracelet connects to the head of the watch, is actually quite large. It's 49.4 millimeters. To give you some context, the Rolex Daytona lug to lug is only 48 millimeters. And so 49 millimeters top to bottom is quite long. And so it's not a small watch, but going left to right, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock is only 30 millimeters wide. So it's a long, skinny watch, and it's that's the style. It's quite a cool looking way to display it, and it has a nice thickness. You might think that for all that this watch does, and being able to have two sides, you'd think that it would be very thick, but it's actually only 11 millimeters thick, considering that there's literally two sides to the watch. That means you have to put two dials, by the way, and dials take up space, and so do hands, by the way. So you can imagine how thin is this movement that it can. Most watches that are annual calendar are actually 11 millimeters. This is an annual calendar with two dials and two sets of hands, and it's still 11 millimeters. So they did quite a job to pack it all in to this small area. So you have to really give it up to Jaeger for doing quite an amazing job. Okay, now with that said, that's the case. Now the case is made of all rose gold. It looks the same case that they use for pretty much all their Reversos, but the difference is, of course, is made of their most luxurious material, which is rose gold. And it has these nice three lines. These are decorative lines. It's on all their Reversos, and it really makes the watch have some depth to the case, if you ask me. Okay, now with that said, let's move on here to let's look at the dial. First, let's look at the white dial. Now the white dial here is going to have most of the information on it, and it's going to match most of your clothing as well, since it's white. It's going to have the day and the month, day on the left side and the month on the right side, and it's going to have the date 1 through 31 on the next to the moon phase, and actually, of course, even has a moon phase. So the moon phase, you can see it on this side of the front. And the hands, they call these dolphin hands, and I guess that looks kind of like a sword with, I don't know what a dolphin is, actually. If anyone knows, you can put it in the comments. But that's what they call them, these kind of hands. I actually really like the hands the way they are. Let's look at the other side here now. The other side is called dark gray, okay? Dark gray. So let's say you're going out, in the daytime, and you want to wear, something casual. Let's just say, slacks and a collared shirt. You wear it with this, and maybe the shirt's rolled up. So you wear it with the white facing out. And then at night, you want to put on your fancy suit, go out to dinner, do something, extraordinary, or, kind of extraordinary. And so what do? You flip it to the other side. And that's easily done by just pushing here and changing it to the other side. And now the watch is black. You can wear it with your black suit, or, something different. And you can even, by the way, we'll change the strap, which I'll show you in just a moment. But on the other side, it has a totally different face. It doesn't even have the annual calendar. It has the moon phase, but the moon phase is facing downward, and it even has a sun in the moon phase, which is pretty cool. You don't see that. Actually, I don't know any other brand that includes both the sun. All right, so it's actually, I'm sorry, I don't even think it's a moon phase. It's actually a day-night disc. Day-night. It's not a moon phase. Day and night disc. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't really see that very often. All right, and it has a gray dial of again dolphin hands, but it doesn't have the calendar shown on this side. Yeah, which is not a bad thing though. Okay, so you have on one side you have the day, the annual calendar and moon phase. On the other side you have a day and night indicator as well as the time on both sides, of course. Okay, so that's the dial. Quite a bit to unpack, and considering it's all done in a small area, it's quite amazing. Okay, now let's look at the bracelet. Now the bracelet, one of the cool things is you can change the bracelet. It's interchangeable and you can do either a fabric or you can do a leather, or I'm sure you can get aftermarket ones, but as they come from the factory, you get the fabric strap, okay, to make the watch look a little bit more sporty, or you get the leather strap, and you can swap that, and you can also swap the dial. So you have 2x2 combination. You actually have 4 different looks for a watch rather than just 2. Usually you can just change the strap, but here you can actually change the strap and the dial. So you can have 4 different variations of this watch. All right, okay. Let's look at the movement here. Now the movement is, as I told you, very small. It's 5.5 millimeters. The watch itself is 11. That means in 6 millimeters they were able to fit, and you have 2 sides. That means 3 millimeters per side. You were able to fit a dial and hands with 3 millimeters on each side, and plus the complication, whatever you had to fit. So it's quite amazing. And it's a manual wind, as you could imagine, because there's no place that the rotor could be. So it has to be manual wind. It means you have to wind it. It lasts 42 hours power reserve. It has 223 parts. And I think the reason they were able to do it because they were to lower the number of components, which allows the movement to stay thin and be able to accommodate both sides of this dial. Okay, time to try this watch on my wrist and give you my thoughts. Now, my thoughts are a Reverso is a great watch for Jaeger. It's one of the coolest ones out there that have this shape. There's not a lot of them that have this shape, so I guess being cool in a category that there's not a lot of players is not that difficult. But regardless of that, it's going to be for those people who want a dress watch. This is not really the watch that you go out and wear when you're, biking or, playing tennis or something. It's not really a sports watch. Actually, it's not a sports watch. But it's still very cool. I'm not going to tell you it's the coolest watch in the world, but it definitely is cool. And what is cooler about it is that the retail price has, as of October 2025, has changed to $34,000. But we are selling it at jazztime.com in the 20s, around 26, 27,000, something like that, which is quite a big discount. And if you're not in California, there's no sales tax. So at the authorized dealer, this watch could be in the upper 30s, and we're selling to you in the mid 20s. So that value proposition is quite good for most people. And I think that it's a nice dress watch. It's definitely quite unique. Not a lot of people are going to have a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Gold. And so for that reason, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. And if you'd like to purchase at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.